Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. This is the first show of 2024, and we're delighted to have with us Italian journalist Mario Nicoliello. Ciao, Mario. Thank you for joining us. Lovely to have you here.
Hello, Anna. Thanks for the invitation. It is a pleasure to attend this show. Happy New Year to the whole big athletics community.
Thank you, Mario. A lovely, happy new athletics year to everyone. So before we focus on the athletics news of the last month, checking out what's been happening on the roads and cross-country and stadium events, let's start by learning more about our guests. So Mario, I always like to know when our guests caught the athletics bug. So can you tell us what motivated you to start a career in as a sports journalist and in particular in athletics?
For sure. I have loved athletics since I was a child. The first images that I remember was the victory of Toto Thibault in the European Championships in Split 1990. And after 1 year, the fantastic World Championships in Tokyo with the battle between Carl Lewis and Mike Powell. But the athletes who inspired me when I was a child was Jonathan Edwards. First with his refusal to compete on Sundays, and then with his windy jumps at the 95 European Cup, and finally with the 2 world records at the Gothenburg World Championships of the same year. Obviously, at that time, I was very, very young, so the decision to become an athletics journalist instead came a decade later, observing the competition at the Olympic Games, first in Athens and then in Beijing. That days, I decided to become a sport journalist, and I decided that I would like to report about the queen of the Olympic sports.
And so who were the athletes who inspired you the most when you actually decided to be a sports journalist?
But for sure, I start my career in 2009, so after Beijing and before Berlin. And therefore, I need to add the third B, so Beijing, Berlin, Bolt. Was Usain Bolt. I remember the 2 fantastic world records in China, and he was able to improve the following year in Germany. But after the winner, I was also inspired by the losers. And among them, I would like to mention Asaf Powell. And talking about the Olympic Games, I can tell you even about the exciting duels in the middle distance in Athens, the battle between Hicham El Guerrouj and Kenenisa Bekele in 5K. And probably if I go back in the past, I can put on the table the treble of Maurice Green, Athens, Sevilla, Edmonton, and the fantastic style of Jonathan Edwards in triple jump. This was the images that I can show you and that can inspire me at the beginning of my career.
Thank you, Mario. And what were the 3 favorite athletics moments in the course of your career?
Oh, so 3 moments. By far, the first moment was at the Tokyo Olympic Games. So the evening of 100 meters won by Marcel Jacobs, and in the same evening, the winning in the high jump by Gianmarco Tamberi. That night was unforgettable. And not only that night, but also the night of the 4x100 meters and the victory of the Italian team, and more the other 2 Italian gold medals in the race walking. So Tokyo Olympic Games with 5 Italian gold medals, something that is not possible to forget. Remaining in the Olympic Games, I think that the second moment was at the London Olympics. That was my first Olympic Games on the field. And I can quote the evening of the 100-meter final, or the evening with the 3 British golds medal, or the other fantastic evening with Usain Bolt that catch the gold medal in 200 meter, the world record of David Rudisha in 800, and the Fabrizio Donato bronze medal in triple jump. Thinking about a third moment, probably another first time for me. So the first World Championships on the pitch, and that World Championship was in Moscow, 2013. And probably the most impressive day was the day of the 100-meter final, because that day I was the possibility to follow Usain Bolt all along the day, from the hotel to the training camp to the warm-up area to the stadium. And at the end of the day, I ended up on 9gag for the most curious photos of the day. So even this is just for fun, but it was in my mind. And then, to be honest, on a personal level, probably my first IAAF World Gala in Monte Carlo was unforgettable, when I found myself among the stars of the past and the present, and I felt like I was dreaming.
Thank you, Mario. Yeah, that was good fun. And as you say, the year-end gala were absolutely amazing for all of us who love the sport. So we'll come back
good
to
past
learn.
times. What a pity that is something that is related only the past. What a pity.
Exactly. Let's see if they decide to bring it back. It would be a good idea, because it's a great promotion for the sport. So we'll come back to learn more about our guest, but let's look now at what's been happening in our sport over the last month, because we took a longish break, starting with a quick review of the World Cross Country Tour. 2023 ended at the Cross Internacional de Venta de Baños on 17 December in Spain, and the women's race saw a dominant performance by Kenya's Edina Jebitok, which was the start of a string of successful cross-country and road races, while the men's event witnessed a very tight victory by Spain's Abdesamad Ouklefen. The cross tour continued just after New Year with the traditional 6 January appointment with the Campaccio in San Giorgio sul Legnano. The men's race was won by Kenya's Daniel Ebenyu Simiu, the silver medalist over both the 10,000 in Budapest and the World Road Running Championships in Riga over the half marathon. And Ebenyu confirmed his versatility on all surfaces with a decisive win over Uganda's Oscar Chelimo, the Oregon 22 bronze medalist over 5,000. And the Kenyan had set a standalone world best over the 25 kilometers in Kolkata, India on 17 December. Among the women, victory went to Burundi's Francine Niyokumunzi, who was 9th last October in Riga over 5K, over home favorite Nadia Battocletti, who had suffered from a fever the week before the race. The following day, the tour continued in El Goibar, Spain, with several top stars of our sport. Among the women, Kenya's reigning world cross-country champion and 5,000-meter multi-medalist Beatrice Chebet, also an athlete who excels on all surfaces, led a Kenyan podium sweep with a close victory over an in-form Edina Jebitok and Grace Nawawuna. In the men's race, Ethiopia's Berihu Aregawi won a close race over Burundi's cross specialist Rodrigue Quizera, while the reigning Olympic 3,000-meter steeplechase champion and double Olympic double world champion Soufiane El Bakali was an interesting third. 2 weeks later in Hanut, in Belgium, Edina Jebitok was back on the top step of the podium in a dominant display, while the men's race went to Yves Namibuna of Rwanda. Edina Jebitok and Likina Amebwa now jointly lead the women's 23-24 World Cross Country Tour standings, while on the men's side, Rodrigo Quizera is alone at the top. Mario, do you follow cross country? And can you tell us why the Cinque Mulini, whose spectacular course runs through windmills, was not on the calendar this year?
Yes, I do. I remember two fantastic events of cross country following on the pitch. The World Championships in Denmark, in Aarhus, with athletes on the roof of the museum, I remember. And then a very hot European Championship in December in Sardinia. That was two good experience for me on the pitch to follow cross country. Regarding Cinque Mulini, it is not on the calendar because the organizer have decided to change the dates, and this year it will be held in November. The idea is that in this case, it could be a test before the European Championship in December.
Okay, thank you. Really look forward to seeing that again, because it's, I mean, the images are definitely among the most wonderful in cross country.
San Vittorio Olona.
Yes, yes. So the most impressive results of the past month, however, have come from road races, starting on 16 December, where former marathon world record holder Brigitte Kosgei ran a fast 2 hours 19:15 in Abu Dhabi, finishing far ahead of her competitors. But the fireworks started in earnest on 31st December. Now, there are traditional St. Sylvester road races held around the globe that day, including São Paulo in Brazil, Bolzano, Italy, Trier in Germany, and of course, races in Spain, in particular Madrid and Barcelona. And the Cursa dels Nassos, 5 kilometers race in Barcelona, was the most impressive, as Inform Beatrice Chebet took 16 seconds off the women-only world record, bringing it to an excellent 14 minutes 13. The men's race was not as fast, but saw an interesting victory for Dominic Loquignon-Molobalo, the former athlete refugee now based in Switzerland. Dominic obtained a Swiss nationality at the end of September last year, so his winning time of 13 minutes 12 equaled the European record set in early 23 by France's Jimmy Gressier. It's interesting to note, though, that the mark is not Dominic's PB, as he had run in 13 minutes flat in the 2022 Diamond League final in Zurich, which was contested as a city event and thus is considered a 5K road race. Now, in 2024, excellent performances continued. Ethiopia's Tigist Ketema, another good middle distance runner to become a successful marathoner, opened the dance with an excellent 2 hours 16:07 performance in the Dubai Marathon on 7 January, the fastest ever debut over the distance. And things got even better a week later at the Valencia Ibercaja 10 kilometers race, where Kenya's Agnes Jebet Ngetich became the first woman to run under 29 seconds, shattering the previous mark by Ethiopia's Yalemzer Fiehwala with an amazing time of 28:46 and pulling compatriot Immaculate Anyango Acholi also under the previous best. Her performance was so good that in passing, she also set the world record over the 5 kilometers distance with a time of 14:13, the new world record in a mixed race and equal to the women-only record set by Beatrice Chebet 2 weeks earlier. Well back behind, Great Britain's Eurocross under 23 race winner Megan Keith was rewarded with a European under 23 record of 31:22 shaving 1 second off the previous mark. The men's race was not as fast, but still a high-quality competition, with a victory for Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo in 26:48 over Bahrain's Birhanu Balev and Kenya's Peter Alia. Balev's mark of 26:57 was an Asian record, taking 38 seconds off the continental best, which had stood since 2015. And in fifth place, Dominic Lokinyomolobalu equaled another European record, clocking 27:13 to equal the mark set by his compatriot Julian Vanders in the same race in 2020. On the same day in Houston, Texas, there were also good marks, especially in the women's half marathon, where Ethiopia's Sutume Asefa Kebede, who had set the standalone 25-kilometer world best in Kolkata in mid-December, ran an excellent 1 hour 04:37, finishing exactly 1.5 minutes ahead of superstar Helen Obiri. And American Wayini Kelati concluded the race in fourth place in 1:06:25, setting the NACAC record on her debut at the distance. A final word from Houston to highlight a great performance by Kenya's double world marathon champion Edna Kiplagat, who at 44 years of age is still going strong, finishing in sixth place with a personal best of 1:07:52. Mario, what do you think of the crazy evolution of road running?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I think from one side, the new shoes, but from the other, the arrival on the streets of young man and young girl. If you think in the past, the road was the finish line for the second part of the career. Today, this is no longer the case. Today, we are a lot of teenagers that just start with the road race and even with the long distance. So I was very happy that a specific World Championships was born for the road competition.
Thank you, Mario. So let's move now to stadium events to highlight a couple excellent performances for indoor meets, or short track, as they're now called. The indoor season is picking up, especially in the US, and two ladies who had excelled last year are still shining in early 2024. At the meeting in Albuquerque on 20 January, high altitude combined with talent produced some great marks over 200 meters, as St. Lucia's Julian Alfred ran a sizzling 22:28 for a decisive victory over Ireland's Razidat Adeleke, who clocked 22:49 after taking victory in the 60 meters. Among the men, the best performance so far in 2024 came at the Maryville meet on 20 January, where Casey Lightfoot cleared 6 meters in the pole vault. Wow. So it's too early in the season to look at world leads, so we're going to check the best results of the past month, starting with senior events. And we'll continue to include in brackets marks which are regular, which are listed on the respected Tilastopaya website, but do not appear on the World Athletics list. So for the seniors, we have split performances achieved in December 23 and those recorded this month. And our cutoff for this period is performances worth 1,220 points. So starting with marks set in December, clearly they're all from outdoor events. In the race walk, Sweden's Perseus Karlström, a very good 1 hour 18:39 in Dublin. And then, as we saw, the wonderful Cursa dels Nasos in Barcelona, with great performances by Beatrice Chebet in a world record. Ejegayo Taye 14:21. That was then the equal third best mark of all time. And the Ethiopian also has number 2 and number 3. Lilian Kanzait-Rengerok was third in what was then the number 5 best performance of all time. And Joy Cheptoyek of Uganda moved up to number 6 best mark of all time. On the same day in the San Silvestre Vallecana in Madrid, the winner was Ethiopia's Ababel Yeshane. Now, I'm not sure why that doesn't appear in the World Athletics list, because it is a label race. Their website say the course is certified, so I'm not sure why that is not in the World Athletics list. And then, as we saw on 16 December, great performance by Bridget Kosgei in the Abu Dhabi Marathon. So the first weeks of 2024 also saw no shortage of excellent marks. Let's take a look first at the men's results. So there's an interesting new sprinter from Zimbabwe, Tapiwa Makarawu, who clocked 20.29 in Lubbock on 13 January. In the same venue a week later, 2042 for the USA's Kennedy Leitner. Now, interesting mark in the 600 meters. So we don't usually include these spurious distances, but the 15:09 by Saveli Savlukov in Yekaterinburg brings him to number 7 in the short track list of all time, so it's worth including. In the pole vault, as we saw, 6 meters for Casey Lightfoot. Chris Nielsen has also been going strong with 5 meters 90 in Reno and 5:83 in Colorado Springs. And in between those performances, Curtis Marshall, outdoor in Perth, cleared 5 meters 85. Very good shot put performance by Luxembourg's Bob Bertem, 21 meters 71. And then the road race performances, as we saw, great 10 kilometers in Valencia with Jacob Kiplimo, Berhanu Balev, Peter Mwaniki Ayla, and Dennis Kibet Kitiwo. In the marathon in Dubai, Mario was just talking about teenagers coming straight to long distance on the roads, and Ethiopia's Adisu Gobene, who clocked 2:05:01 in Dubai, is only 19 years old, and he was a debutant at the distance. Also in Dubai, very good marks below 2 minutes, 2 hours 6 for Lemi Dumecha and Dejane Megersa, and very good marks below 2 hours 6:30 for Abdi Fufa and Emmanuel Fitui Shibatu. So there were excellent marks among the women as well. And we mentioned the 200-meter marks by Julian Alfred and Razidat Adele in Albuquerque. And then it was all about road races, with the world record in passing by Agnes Chebeton-Getich, as she destroyed the record over the 10 kilometers in Valencia. And that was an extremely high level race, because if you look at the performance at the points, 1,317 points for Agnes Chebeton-Getich, also above 1,300 for Immaculate Anyango Acholi, Lilian Kazait-Rengerok 1,274. So a very, very good race, and with great depth, because there are another 6 or 7 ladies who also recorded excellent performances in Valencia. Over the half marathon, we mentioned Sutume Asefa Kebede in Houston. She moves to number 6 of all time. And in the marathon, Tigist Ketema's mega fast debut, with very good performances also by for other ladies in Dubai. So several under 20 and under 18 athletes also registered great performances over the past weeks, starting with the under 20s. So in December in 2023, Jamisha Ford of the US ran an excellent 35.83 over 300 meters in Clemson, and that's the fastest ever under 20 short track mark, and it's so good that it's number 7 in the all-time senior list. In Barcelona, Medina Asa clocked 14:40 over the 5 kilometers. That's the fastest under 23 of all time. And in Madrid, Asmaric Ayanli, which I mistakenly put under the 2024 performances, she also ran the fastest under 20 mark of all time over the 10K with 30.32. And for 2024, Jamisha Ford was again excellent on 20 January in Boston, this time over 400 meters with 51.60, which is the number 6 under 20 short track mark of all time. Among the under 18, there were always some excellent performances. Over 60 meters hurdle, Tristan Conso of Estonia clocked 7.70 on the 91.4 centimeters hurdles on 14 January in Tallinn. And among the women, it's all about Mia Wild, another hurdler from Croatia. Now she clocked 8:13 and moves up to number 2 in the under 18 of all times. That was on 29 December in Osijek, but she has 4 other performances, 8:19, twice 8:22 and 8:23, which would also put her in the top 5 marks of all time. So really fantastic start to the indoor season by Mia Wild, and it will be really interesting to see how she continues her season. Then there's also a very good performance on the 3,000 meter race walk by France's Chloé Leroc, who clocked 12:50:32 and moves to number 6 in the under 18 all-time list. So Mario, was there anything that particularly impressed you over the last month?
By far, Agnes Jebet-Gnetic and their great race in Valencia. From one side, the way in which I managed the competition, and from the other side, the time. So first woman under 29 minutes over 10 kilometers, and I would like to underline, faster than the 10,000 track world record.
Yes, definitely amazing performances by Agnes Jebet-Gnetic. Now, Mario, you have already told us about your best memories of 2023 and the special favorite moments show. So let's look ahead now. What athletes or events will you be most looking forward to in 2024?
Regarding the event, for sure, the Olympic Games in Paris. Regarding the athletes, probably Kiptum, and is the double attempt. So from one side, going under the 2 hours in the marathon, from the other side to beat Kipchoge in Paris in the Olympic Games. And from my personal view, I think that in general, in this new year, I would like to explore better the Paralympic athletics, because in Paris, I will also follow the paras on pitch for the first time. So it is a new horizon for me.
Thank you, Mario. And then we will be able to see the there was a great trio of Italian ladies over the 100 meters who have been doing very, very well. So you'll be able to see them in person.
Yes, Sabadini, Caironi, Contraffatto.
Exactly. Yes, impressive ladies. So it's time now to take a final look at the athletes of the year. We already saw the winners selected by European Athletics and World Athletics, with the latter's surprise nomination of 3 athletes per gender, split into track, field, and out-of-stadia events. Now, it's interesting to note that Mondo Duplantis, who had been very diplomatic on the night of the awards, has recently declared to Swedish broadcaster SVT that, like Noah Lyles, he was surprised and disappointed by the new format, saying that they did not tell us anything before. That's what makes you a little bit pissed off. Now it feels like they refrained from saying anything to us because we might not come then. I think it's a shame, and it's strange, super weird. So, Mario, what do you think of the World Athletics innovation of splitting up the awards into 3?
Totally, I don't agree with this choice. So I think that should be only one athlete of the year. Therefore, I'm in line with the idea of Mondo Duplantis.
Yes, I definitely agree, and especially not telling the athletes beforehand. That's what both Noah and Mondo are saying is really not nice at all.
It was a surprise for them when they arrived in Monte Carlo. Probably they expected to win, and then they realized that yes, they win, but not all alone, but with others.
Exactly. So it was strange. It was strange. Now, Mondo may have taken heart from being the best ranked male athlete in the AIPS Sports Person of the Year award. Like Faith Kipyegon, Mondo placed second overall, respectively, behind the US gymnast Simone Biles and Serbian tennis player Novak Djokovic. On a continental level, African athletes of the year were Faith Kipyegon over Tigsta Sefa and Gudaf Segai, and Kelvin Kiptum over Soufiane El Bakali and Hugues Fabrice Zongo. And 2 major US media outlets, Track and Field News and Let'sRun.com, also chose their athletes of the year. For Track and Field News, the athletes of the year are Faith Kipyegon and Ryan Krauser, heading a list of 10 athletes, and both of them also won the TNFN Performance of the Year awards. For Let'sRun.com, athletes of the year are Faith Kipyegon and Kelvin Kiptum, which is definitely not surprising for a website focusing especially on running. Now, both athletes also won the fans' vote, with a staggering 80% of fans voting for Kipyegon. Now, LRC also assigned other awards: MVP to Noah Lyles, Comeback of the Year to Sha'Carri Richardson, Breakthrough of the Year to Yared Nuguse, and they also had 2 brilliantly named awards: the We'll Never See It Again award for Sifan Hassan, and the WTF Performance of the Year to Tigst Assefa. I thought that was brilliant. So as we see, there were different opinions regarding the best male athlete of 2023, but on the women's side, it was universal consensus that Faith Kipyegon was the female athlete of the year, and indeed, she had a stunning 2023. And of course, we cannot conclude the review of the athlete of the year without asking our guest. So Mario, who were your personal athletes of the year?
Yes, I can follow the others in the nomination, in the choice for the female athletes of the year. So I would like to nominate Faith Kipyegon. Regarding the male, my vote is for Noah Lyles. But tell me something even about the Italian point of view, because we during last year we got a lot of prestigious results, and probably One word about Gianmarco Tamberi and his gold medal in the high jump in Budapest, and another word for the Italian team that won the European Cup in Poland in June. So two wonderful images for Italy in the last year.
Yes, definitely. It was another great year for Italy. Let's see what 2024 brings.
We hope so.
Yeah. So thank you, Mario. Let's move now to some cool athletics news, because I'd like to highlight and congratulate how some of our track stars took time over the holidays to bring joy to children in their communities. We already spoke about quadruple triple jump world champion Yulimar Rojas, who recently launched her foundation. Now, sprint legend Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price had launched her Pocket Rocket Foundation years ago and staged the first Christmas treat way back in 2008. Last Christmas, the sextuple world champion was back for another Christmas treat, dressed as Santa and handing out gifts, food, and drinks to the children in St. Catherine's. And another sprinter with a big heart is former double under-20 world champion Brianna Williams, who organized her own Christmas treat for the fourth time in Montego Bay, St. James, bringing joy to over 300 children. So congratulations to the three ladies, champions both on and off the track. Now, some sad news, unfortunately, as several protagonists of the world of athletics have left us. There were quite a few athletics greats who recently passed away, so we will mention just three of them. 2015 world pole vault champion Sean Barber passed away on 17 January, aged just 29, from medical complications. So Sean, as we see, was a gold medalist in 2015, but he had also placed eighth the following edition. In 2015, he was also gold in the Pan Am Games held in Toronto, in his home country. He medaled twice at the Commonwealth Games, and he had started his brilliant career as an under-20 athlete, winning bronze at the World Under-20 Championships and gold at the Pan Am Under-20 Championships. Now, the death of Ugandan steeplechaser Benjamin Kiplagat is even more tragic, as he was found dead from stab wounds to the chest and neck on January 1st, 2024 in Eldoret, aged 34. Now, he had good results as an under-20 athlete in the world cross country. He was also good on the track with silver in the world under-20 championships in 2008, after he had taken sixth at a very young age 2 years before, and had medaled at African championships over the steeplechase. Numerous top athletes, including Joshua Cheptegei, Eliud Kipchoge, Faith Kipyegon, Bridget Kosgei, and Ezekiel Kemboi, attended his funeral. And finally, Spain's Carmen Valero succumbed to a stroke on 2 January, aged 68. Valero had been the first female athlete to represent Spain at the Olympic Games, and amazingly, that was as late as Montreal 76. Valero's greatest successes came in the cross country, as she twice won the World Championships in 1976 and 1977, after having earned bronze in 1975. So rest in peace, Sean, Benjamin, and Carmen, and thank you for the joy you brought to us in watching you compete. Let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So tomorrow, 27 January, the Astana Indoor Meet is the first gold event in the World Indoor Tour. On the same day, first of the two African legs of the World Cross Country Tour in Gaborone, Botswana. 27 and 28 in Cochabamba, Bolivia, the South American Indoor Championships. And on Sunday, 28th, the Osaka International Women's Marathon. On 30 January, the Czech Indoor Gala in Ostrava. Then on 3 February, the second leg in Africa of the World Cross Country Tour, the Sirikwa Cross Classic in Eldoret. On 4 February, New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston, back to the World Indoor Tour. 2 days later in Torun, Orlen Copernicus Cup. And then on 10 February, the World Indoor Tour continues in Liévin with the Meetingo Hauts-de-France Pas-de-Calais. And the next day, Millrose Games in New York. So lots of exciting events coming up. So we're now at the end of our program. It was great having Mario with us on the show.
Thanks, Anna, for this wonderful time. It was my pleasure. Hope to see you soon in person, probably at the World Indoor Championships. If I can continue to call in this way, or we need to switch to World Short Course Championships. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a bit confused about this short course business, but whatever. We don't take the decisions. So thank you very much, Mario. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
And see you in 2 weeks on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.